Hey, what's going on? This is Zakk Wylde, Black Label Society. We're all doing the hang, and you're watching Reverb.com. Well, when I got the gig with the boss, obviously, being a huge fan of St. Rhodes and everything like that, but everybody in my generation, whether it be St. Diamond, all the guys, I mean, it was Randy and Eddie, everyone my age is just hugely inspired and influenced by those two guys. But when I got the gig with Oz, it was just like, well, I just made kind of a list of everything I couldn't do. It was like, well, how am I going to be me? Like, well, what am I going to do? How do I become Zakk Wylde? Like, what's going to be my sound? So, I just like made a list. I was just like, well, can't play classical guitar because that's Randy's thing. Then I go, no sweep picking because you're not going to do it better than Yngwie. No harmonic minor scales, cross that off the list. No diminished scales, cross that off because that's like Randy and Yngwie's thing. No tapping because that's Eddie's thing. No whammy bar. I guess I won't even use a whammy bar. So I just looked at the list. It's like, well, what's left? And at that point I was taking like diatonic scales, 3 notes per string. I just kind of looked at it and I go, well, the only thing left is just pentatonic scales. So I said, let me just see I'll make everything based off of pentatonic scales. Like all my solos, everything I'm gonna do, whether it's Miracle Man, anything like that, Crazy Babies, any of the solos that we did on those records. And it was just, majority of it was just all pentatonic scales. Just like, to force myself to have to be creative with, you only have X amount of crayons, let's see what you can do. Another than that, you really look at those Hendrix albums and everything, everybody would always say, well, imagine if Jimmy had all this stuff nowadays, Pro Tools and everything, imagine what those records would have sounded like. I said, yeah, probably garbage. They wouldn't have sounded as brilliant and as insanely innovative as they were because they had really not much to work with. It forces you to use your noggin and actually, let's try a little bit of this and try a little bit of that and see what we can make with very limited amount of stuff. As far as the chicken picking thing can go, it's just because obviously from playing classical guitar, using your fingers, I was just like, well, that's a waste, because I'm not gonna play classical. It's just, if you don't want to get compared to St. Rhodes, it's already bad enough you got blonde hair and I'm playing a Les Paul. That's the reason why I put the bullseye on it, so it's not a blonde Les Paul like Randy's, which is a mistake because now they have something to aim at while I'm on stage. But anyways. I seen a video on Albert Lee, and I just got chills listening to him play. And then the whole, with flat pickers and the whole bluegrass thing, and just seeing, I just bought a video on Albert Lee, one of those Star Licks videos, and just like copped all the licks off of that thing. And it's just a lot of banjo rolls and stuff like that. You can take your basic pentatonic licks and each day I always, I'll tell kids, it's just like, just come up with your own, the scales, but it just, come up with your own combinations. Just like how you have. Just like string skipping. Where you have a lick like Frank Marino would use on a Mahogany Rush live record. Where Frank was picking it. And then, then I was just like, oh, well, if you're going to use some chicken picking. And then, like you said, the same thing with once again, you can take a simple lick and then turn it into something altogether different,